All right, the questions, hip hop trivia, Making Illmatic. We are back at it with another episode, and I'm joined, as always, I'm your host, Sean Kantrowitz. I sometimes forget to say that. Sometimes I say that in the pre-record, but fuck it, we'll do it live. Sean Kantrowitz, braving the LA winters of 60-something degrees, somehow feels wildly colder than it is, so hoodied up right now. Joined by MidaZ the Beast. MidaZ, how are you living?
Everything's lovely, man. We out here about to take on another one of the 98 specials.
Yeah, we're really cleaning through the 98 selection here.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to do Can I Bust, so we're just going to have to leave that one alone, and this might be the last one.
We'll see. Never say never. But we're joined by an esteemed guest of ours. He's one of Orlando's hip-hop practitioners, MC extraordinaire, a rap fanatic who, can go toe for toe. We've had many conversations with him separately together about the very things that we do in this podcast. We've had these conversations with this man in real life. Shinobi Stalin is in the building.
What up? How y'all doing? Y'all good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're great. So Shinobi, we're doing Noreaga's first album, N.O.R.E, N.O.R.E. Why this album?
Well, first off, I think it's because MidaZ knows that I'm half Puerto Rican, so he kind of made me do it.
Sure.
Nah, but basically, so for me, it starts with the War Report, because when the War Report came out, I was old enough to hang out with my brother, right? So my brother's 5 years older than me. So that was like my cool pass. So that whole summer, I heard the War Report. We freestyled and skateboarded all summer. That's all we did, right? So by the time N.O.R.E came out, or by the time N.O.R.E was coming out, I already had that in my mind. Like, I like Capone Noreaga. Let's go check out this N.O.R.E album. And the great thing about the N.O.R.E album for me was I was in New York when it came out. I bought it at the Virgin Megastore in Union Square. So I was hearing the album in the streets. I was hearing Band from TV and the radio. I was hearing Mathematics in cars. I was hearing Head out of the project windows. So it was like one of the first albums for me, I'm a Floridian and shit, like that I heard in New York City when it came out and heard the energy of the album.
Shit like that matters, man. Like that rap experience of like, yo, I got a chance to hear Flex play this on the radio and drop the bomb on it, or see how the streets was like. That shit matters, man. Like,
So songs,
experiencing it that way.
Yeah, songs hit different when they're in your context of being where they're at. Like, I remember never being a fan of Mac 10, flying into LA when I was like 15, and my mom driving through South Central, and me hearing Mac 10 on the radio, and then I was like, oh shit, I get it now. I get the shit. And that's what this N.O.R.E album is. It's like straight New York dude who's never left New York, mad slang, mad inside stuff. Unless you know New York, it's very inside ball.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, talking about the War Report is definitely an important, everything that happened with the War Report, as well as everything that happened after the War Report, really reflects on what this album is. This is an album that I don't think that N.O.R.E was even necessarily intending on doing a solo album as soon as he did. His hand sort of got forced into this with, Capone getting locked up. So, it was an interesting time for sure, but he was one of those voices, as we, sort of alluded to before, where like it was this seismic sort of wave happening in 1998 of all these new voices sort of poised to carry the torch. We've talked about it a lot on previous episodes. There was this, landscape that was kind of open up with, Biggie no longer being around in New York. Mm-hmm. It was who's going to take the throne. Not that, Noreaga was ever poised to be like the king of New York, but it was definitely that new freshman class. Yeah, it was a blue chip, and it was definitely that freshman class of like, regardless of what you think about them. Yeah.
The Cannabis, Corrupt, right? All those dudes.
Yep, and the styles, they all had styles that were like very distinct. And I think that's a big part of why these guys, the Cannabises and the DMX and the Big Pun, and the Noreagas, they all stood out in that way. And that's why we're talking about these records. I'd say for me personally, this record was not one that got as much burn in 1998 as other records that were coming out at the time. I've talked about it on previous episodes. I kind of saw the fork in the road here. And I think my 1998 self, I was, like entering high school. This might have been a little too like radio, like mainstreamy for me at the time. But, I had Open Mike Eagle on the questions, a couple of months back, and we were talking about one of the songs on this record, and we both sort of identified with the fact that there were tenets of this kind of rap that at the time some people might have been very quick to dismiss, but if you look back at it now and you understand like the various different forms of emceeing and the skills that it takes, Noreaga definitely was bringing it. You know, this was not like, you know, coasting by any means. You know, it's not, basically what I'm trying to say is it's not easy to be N.O.R.E. You know, it's not like, oh, anybody can do that. Even though he's not necessarily the most lyrical, like crazy, you know, super pen, the performance and the delivery is definitely distinct and is its own skill.
Yeah. So to that point, I want to make this extremely clear to all the listeners of the pod. As I fashion myself to be a lyric guy, a lyric writer. I care about lyrics, but as far as me writing them, but I don't weigh lyrics higher than flavor.
Yeah.
You know, flavor, because the thing is, man, like I feel like as a writer, and you know, Shinobi, you tell me if you see this a little different, but as a writer, I don't think writing is hard. You know what I'm saying? I think I feel like you can be taught how to write. But you can't, like, for instance, shout out my guy Rap Seminar, they got a daggone lyric class now, right? Like writing Pendulum Ink. Excuse me, writing can be taught. You can't teach flavor. You can't teach style. You can't teach those things. And like, I know I was listening to one of the Drink Champs where N.O.R.E, or a couple of them, where he's always talking about like, yo, I didn't really know how to count bars. I didn't really know how to like write a hook. Like all I knew how to do was write like 50,000 bar verses. And like, and he was like, I didn't even really know how to write. Like, you know, everything was, you know, like it's just interesting to show this wasn't a honed skill. This is what we do in the hood. Yeah. And translated to record, which is really ill.
I like to use the example, like in skateboarding, it's not the trick. It's not the trick you do, it's how you land the trick. And in hip hop, it's the exact same thing. It's like, it's you, no matter how ill your rhymes are, if you ain't rhyming it on beat or you ain't doing it cool, it's not going to sound fresh.
Right. And nobody sounded like N.O.R.E, bro. Nobody still has sounded like N.O.R.E to this day.
Tragedy had the greatest idea of what N.O.R.E's rap is. He said he raps in stereo, right? So, and it makes sense, right? Because sometimes he comes out and it sounds like he's on a megaphone, but he's like coming through both speakers and shit. But the cool thing about this album is you either get stereo N.O.R.E or you get monotone focus N.O.R.E. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So some of his better tracks, you may think they might be the hype N.O.R.E, but actually my favorite joints on here are the ones where he's focused and you don't hear a lot of ad libs and he's just riding the beat and just freaking rapping.
He had to put the mic down and not say what.
and this man's one-liners are so either profound or ridiculously wild. The album's like a dichotomy of this dude's personality. How like
I mean, in many ways, it sort of set the foundation for the fact nobody would have called this at the time, but this guy's going to be a great podcaster.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You could tell he was swinging for a hit too. You know, you could tell like certain songs on here, he was trying to get a hit off, and that's probably because of the people he was around, but then he was also trying to stay with the street joints and stuff. So,
oh, for sure. I mean, this seems like a far more commercial reach than what the War Report was doing. You know, this
exactly
seems like
he was. Look at who his contemporaries were though in New York at the time. I mean, he's competing with, honestly, you could say he ends up being this, you know, the second or third biggest star out of the bunch of the 98 guys. Or, you know, you got to think there's Cameron,
there's Pun.
Right.
There's Pun, there's Biss, there's DMX.
Yeah.
You know, probably a couple of others, but those really in the forefront. And, you know, N.O.R.E's still relevant as shit today.
Yeah. And he pulled a hit. And he pulled a hit out
and the hit matters.
Others.
Yeah. The hits definitely matter, and that definitely helps feed the longevity. So, you know, looking back, obviously this was, you know, it was certified gold by the RIAA, and it peaked on number 36. Super Thug peaked at 36 on the Billboard Hot 100. Not a lot of like reviews that I was able to find online. I know that The Source a review written by former Questions guest Kim Osorio, gave it 4 mics.
Oh, wow.
So, the question that we always like to get into before we dive in and try to, trim this thing is, where do we currently rank it? So, Shinobi, as it stands today, what is the current ranking of this album in your mind before we try to trim it?
Okay. I'm probably going to give it a 3. And I'm giving it a 3 because, like you, Sean, anytime I heard anything that sounded remotely like they were trying to get a hit, I was out. I was fast forward. If it even I heard some salsa drums and shit. Nah, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out.
My man. I agree with you. I think it's a 3 as well. There's things that I do like about it. There's certain elements that I think perhaps maybe have not aged as well. Like it's kind of weird because there's 2 sides to it. Sometimes we love albums because they're a time capsule of a year, and then sometimes they're so the year that you're like, this could stay in '98. So for me, when I saw that Source review, and granted, you could take the mics versus the actual reviews with a grain of salt, because as we've seen, like, there was a whole different process going behind that at the Source. But I was a little surprised by seeing that this got 4 mics at the time. I didn't remember that, and I think that's being a little generous. So for me, 3 feels correct.
Yeah, 3 would have been where I landed too. What I will say is, so I was up on Bloody Money. I was up on I wasn't up on the CNN album. I was up on joints that I heard on Clue tapes and joints that I heard on doo-wop tapes and stuff like that. Wasn't really up on the album. I probably heard, this is crazy, I probably heard the whole CNN album after hearing this album. Wow. Is probably, if I think about it, is probably how I absorbed it. But I had heard a lot of N.O.R.E. and a lot of CNN on the mixtapes. And, I went into it. It's funny that you guys were, like, specifically Shinobi was just saying that, it had a little bit of a commercial sound to it, and we were running from that, which I think a lot of us guys who came from the previous, quote unquote era, because for all you guys that have heard several podcasts, you'll know I draw a stake in the ground. I think there's a hard line between 97, there's before 97, and then there's after 97 as far as hip hop goes to me. But this album is super after 97. Like, it is in the first wave of, like, after life, after death, after Wu-Tang Forever albums, and what they were going to sound like after those kind of bombs hit the earth. It sounds like the era. It sounds a lot like the era, which I think going back, the whole era was on some, like, all right, there's millions of dollars out there. Like, let's go get some of this money. So it's interesting.
Especially New York MCs, especially New York hardcore MCs. Yeah.
Yeah. But all that said, I think what I would end up giving this album is probably a 3 as well. I think they were being generous, but I also think that they were really invested in creating new superstars. So if you look, like, a lot of them albums that came out in 98 that had similar sounds were getting the same kind of juice.
Yeah. This album's like a highlight reel for N.O.R.E. Like, for him to be sold, like, I can do these different types of songs and shit.
Yeah, that's a good assessment for sure. Well, then we're going to try to get into it and see what happens if we cut it to 10, and can we bump that mic score. So it's a best 2 out of 3 vote. If we run over 10, then we'll have to go back and cycle and see which one we cut. So let's get into it. It was the 90s. You had to have an intro. And the first skit, or the first song, is called The Jump Off.
The album. N.O.R.E. It's coming out right now. It's out now. Ain't that some funny shit? Y'all motherfuckers thought this thug shit was over, huh? Y'all thought niggas was gonna bring it back to the streets? Don't you know it's
the mafioso strings? Your favorite show.
Yeah, the mafioso strings, my favorite, exactly.
This brings back so many memories of me putting in the CD. I had the CD for this, and I remember putting it in it. Ha 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 ha. Like, for that to be the first thing that happens, and then you follow it up with The album. Go ahead, N.O.R.E. I ain't even mad at you, bro.
So it's an obvious keep, right? No. Yeah, I mean, we got to cut it. We got to cut it.
No, yeah,
I'm out on it,
bro. And I hate skits, and I'm a guy who, skits got to be at the back of songs, fam. Like, right. But I do appreciate that these skits are on different tracks, so I respect it.
Yes, very forward-thinking, pre-iPod era. But, it's very easy to extract these things when you're making your playlist.
Yeah.
The album.
The album.
Let's try to give some credit here. I think that kind of speaks to the fact that he obviously knew that there was a surge happening here. And I think that this album wasn't like a surprise breakout hit. This was definitely like, okay, this is a guy who is in a sort of buzzing, more underground group. And he was sort of being heralded. I'm looking, this came out in July 98. We've already talked about 2 other albums on this program that came out on 98. And N.O.R.E. is on those albums too. He was on
that's right.
Capital Punishment. He was on the Love Movement as well.
Yeah.
So, this is...
He was a major player in 98, man.
Yeah. He was next to Blow.
Wait till we do this ain't 98, but wait till we do the Firm album.
Yeah.
We gotta add that to the list.
Yeah. That'd be crazy. All right, so we're cutting the jump off. We just jumped off our track list.
That was the quickest cut in the history of y'all's show.
Look, we don't have to belabor these things. Sometimes it's just straight to the point.
Yeah.
Case in the joint, straight from Detroit. All right, so you know what it is, Baldy. So which brings us then to the first actual song, track 2. Produced by Swizz Beatz, featuring Nature, Cameron, Styles P, Jadakiss, and Big Pun. It is banned from TV.
We get the same time Gotti got. And there was 2 ways into the hood, 1 plane. The other smoking chronic like straight to the brain. Yeah, let's get loose. Hennessy straight with tomato juice. Queen Stallions, my guns from the Italians. Now y'all niggas recognize medallions. I play the best hood. OT with Tim Westwood. Used to be on Section 8. Now my Section
Flamer.
Thugged out, nigga.
Flamer. So I'll set them off. Number 1, I wanted to state this in one of our previous episodes, but it's missed me until to say it during until just now. What the fuck with the late 90s with those fake ass cuts on every fucking track? Oh, I hate
the bring it back cuts.
Oh, I hate them shits in songs. So other than the fact that I hate that sound in a track, and other than the fact that every time I heard Swizz Beatz, I was like, hip hop is dying. Like, we're just gonna.
Well, I was about to say, you can't really talk about Swizz Beatz beats without talking about sounds that you hate, because even if you appreciate. So I'll say this, to be generous, there are ideas like conceptual, like on a more traditional producer scale with a Swizz Beatz track. I'm like, that's a great idea. But man, is the sounds and the execution, was that not connecting with what I was looking for and still look for in terms of like great production? Like, this is a song that I like, but man, it's not because of the beat.
Well, okay, let me fight back right quick. I'm sorry, Shinobi. Let me fight back right quick and agree with you simultaneously.
I'm into it. Let's go.
He had the ability, Swizz Beatz had the ability to make a beat that all the elements sucked. But then, like, the beat was like, so like this song, the beat doesn't take away from the song. It fits the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
fits the time too. It's such a time capsule of New York at the time.
You would never want to listen to the fucking instrumental. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it sits what it sits. I'll go ahead and start first, and then I'll pass it to Shinobi. To me, this is a super keep. I mean, you get the ill Jada and Styles back and forth. You get the pun moment. You get my man. You get Killer, like, oh, and Nature set it off. Like, this is during an era where I thought Nature was about to be next up. Like, oh, this dude Nature's out of control. So this is a super keep for me.
Yeah. Okay. First things first. I hate this beat. I never want to rap to this beat ever again in my life. I know MidaZ feels the same way. But, like, Switch, like of this era, I didn't even know how to make beats. I'm like, yo, fam, you could go deeper in the keyboard and find different sounds, fam. Like, no, just like, but yo, it's a classic joint, right? And it's kind of brave for you to put a whole bunch of other cats on before you even rap, right? That Nature verse is incredible, right? I love N.O.R.E's verse only because at the end where he talks about how he'll smoke with you, but he'll never do a track with you. And even if your baby moms fuck the crew. Like he had to be talking about somebody specific, fam. and he did start the album off hot because he did start talking about getting head immediately. Right. So he's letting you know what's coming.
It's a pervasive theme throughout
definitely
the album.
It's a keeper. Classic.
Did my man going back into like the way I structure albums? He started the album with a posse cut.
Yeah.
Who the fuck does that? The first song has 5 people on it.
That's kind of wild. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
But again, coming from a guy who came into the game with a partner, so like that could have also been, even on a subconscious level, that's maybe his comfort zone to be rhyming with other people. Yeah, I mean, I hate the beat, but you got to keep it. It's an obvious keep to me. Like we've said, and probably will say some more. This is a 1998 time capsule, not just him, but all the other MCs who are on the track. It's not a beat that like the song even in itself is not anything that I revisit a lot. But here's a question though. Like, do we sort of feel, and this is like a slight side tangent, Swizz Beatz definitely comes to prominence because the South was also bubbling, right? Like even though he is not from the South, just the style of the beats and the fact that he was deviating from like the soul and jazz samples and like this sort of more dusty sound, it sort of seems like it was moving in accordance with some of the more keyboardy beats from the South, right?
I feel like it's a little bit of half. Let me excuse me. Yeah.
No, go ahead. All
right, yeah. I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like it's a little bit of that, but it's also a little bit of, hey, I ain't trying to pay for these samples no more, man. This is $1 million business.
Sure.
Yeah, the sample game was definitely changing in that era. That's when, 98's when Bobby Digital comes out. Like, hey, I don't want to pay for samples no more if I can help it, right? And this has happened to a lot of folks. But I also think this is during an era where, like, if you, like, again, where I say like Life After Death is a linchpin and Puff. Now, mind you, there's samples galore on all of on Life After Death and on P. Diddy and the Family or whatever like that, Puff Daddy and the Family. But there was definitely a move towards a cleanliness in production. Yeah. And I think the more clean it got, the next level of clean is, all right, let's just get away from these samples and like, let's go as clean as we can. And it does have this record, Banned from TV, has a big sound. It sounds like a big record. You know what I'm saying? It does, whether or not we love the beat, it sounds like a big record. And I think Swizz did a good job of making beats that sounded like big records. I mean, the DMX joint, which was mad simple, but it did sound like a big record. You know what I'm saying? Like with those simple sounds. So I think that was a little bit of it too. But God, I
remember hearing Jigga in New York,
beat.
And Cass telling me that Jigga, my nigga, was like the shit. And I was just like, what is this? And it took Stockholm syndrome after hearing it all the time on the radio. I started to like it after a while. So I get it.
It's amazing what repetition can do.
Hell yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to the third track, produced by Easy LP, featuring Carl Thomas. It's I Love My Life.
So my little work. Yeah, I grew up like the regular thug. Sold drugs, wasn't proud about it. That's just what I gotta do. To cop the Jordans and the felines too. Yeah, I love the Bo Jacksons, the orange and blue. Used to snatch the lead patches. Now I wear Cartier glasses, thinking that the earth axis revolves around my will.
One of my most hated tropes in hip hop: the R&B dude singing behind you while you rap. So you're rapping, and he's going, yeah, bro, get out of here with that shit, bro.
Also, not necessarily the beat that I would expect from Easy LP, in this era either. Kind of clean, again, clean,
super clean.
Yeah.
I mean, he grew up like a regular thug. Sold drugs.
Wasn't mad about it. It's just what I had to do.
It's just what I had to do.
I love N.O.R.E, man. Used to cop the Jordans and the Filas too.
There's a lot of confidence, man. A lot of confidence in that delivery.
Yeah.
I hate the order of tracks on this album.
Oh yeah, I would love to resequence this album.
This doesn't belong. This doesn't belong. Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. The first song is the posse cut. The second song,
you just slow it completely down. Yeah.
Hey yo, I grew up like a regular thug. Like, what are we doing? So, you know what, Sean? Let's have you start this one.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to cut it. Because not only is the sequencing not right, it's just I don't want, like, this is going to be a problem, like, for me, and this is going to happen a few more times, but like, I need to keep my smooth R&B and my like street hip hop very separate. And this is the era when the formula had already been proven that was like, hey, you know what's great? Street hip hop and smooth R&B. So, you know, this might give more credence to my origin story of why I was just starting to dive deeper into the JanSport in these years. But you know, this isn't bad. And again, maybe if it was later on the album, I might think of it a little differently. But
track 12, perfect spot for this.
Put it in there, yeah. Like not the center of the album. Like if it's like a cassette or a record, this needs to be like a third into side B. You know what I mean? Like you can't start off side B with this. It needs to be a little bit later. So it's a cut for me.
Stalin?
Yo, this is my favorite fucking N.O.R.E song, fam. I love this song, dog. N.O.R.E's not rapping in stereo. He's focused. He's doing, you know what I'm saying? He's staying on task. The R&B dude's not too crazy. He doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get the ad-lib stuff, but like, I love this song. And I love that he just shouts out random dudes on the song. It's my favorite, like, rap shit. Like, especially like Queens rappers always shouting out dudes and shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, nah, I gotta keep this one, fam. I gotta keep this one. Come on, man. He didn't know rap. All he knew was crack. You gotta give him a break. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, for a guy who doesn't know rap, if we're to take him at first, you know, face value, he's doing great.
Yeah.
For a guy who didn't know rap.
Yo, he is profoundly conscious and a knucklehead. He's like your best friend who always fucks up, but you're like, nah, come on, man. We're still gonna hang out with you, even though, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll have an intelligent conversation with you, and then tomorrow he'll shoot somebody in the foot.
He was the 98 ODB. That's what he is. Oh, man, this is gonna be tough, man. We're already starting off to get gangster with it. It's gotta go, man. It's gotta go. Listen.
Y'all are wildin', man.
Here's my take on why it's gotta go. So we did the Pun album, right? He's got Still Not a Player. He's got I'm Not a Player, right? And we had a big what do we do? We got to keep one of them. They're hits. They're both hits. What do we do? This isn't a hit. So it's not a hit. And it's not that, like, you don't need the R&B, the requisite R&B joint if it's not going to be a hit. Like, that was the whole purpose of the requisite R&B joint was, hey, we got to do the one joint to get the radio spins. This joint did not get no radio spins. So,
this is just a sad rap song. You always need a sad rap song. Yeah, that's why I love. You know I like my sad rap. Come on, fam.
Yeah, but like we could have did a sad rap song that didn't have Carl Thomas on it and didn't sound so clean on a record that doesn't have anything else like it. Basically, like it's just to me it stands out like a sore thumb. So when I'm thinking about putting 10 tracks together, that is the best offering of a cohesive listen. It doesn't have this on it.
But I do understand y'all. Like, it can't be number 2. Yeah, it can't be. I get y'all saying
the sequencing is god awful.
Yeah, when I picked my picks, I didn't even think about the sequencing because I already was like, yo, that's a whole nother show y'all need to make. Resequence these albums. God damn, man, like, this shit goes super hard, super trying to make a hit, super hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
I mean, very it's like a conversation with N.O.R.E from what I've seen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he is kind of all over the place, and you know he's unconventional in that. And you know, I just want to also add that this is not a knock on him including this on the album because again, looking at the environment of 1998, to have Carl Thomas on your record was like a very smart look. You know,
except why wasn't it not a single?
I don't know. Maybe was it?
No, because you had the video, which was N.O.R.E. You had the radio was radio, and Super Thug was the second video, but the radio single I remember in New York was banned from TV. They played that shit a lot.
So
I could be wrong. New York niggas were
no, but that goes back to the point of, so then what's the purpose of the record? You know what I'm saying? Like, just to Sean's point, I guess having Carl Thomas on the album meant something, but it's not even like a really, I don't know. To me, it sticks out like a sore thumb. And I would give it that.
But it is a good introduction song of N.O.R.E. though, fam. Y'all gotta admit that. It is N.O.R.E. talking about himself.
Lyrically yes, but like the actual presentation of the song, maybe not. And I'll also say this might have been included on the album because in an alternate universe where this album does a lot better, the album might have gotten a fourth single. But this is well regarded, but it was only eventually went gold. So it wasn't like a smash. Super Thug was a smash, but the album I would say was not necessarily a smash where that everybody, hip hop head and then even casual fan, has a copy of N.O.R.E. in their collection. I don't think it's that acclaimed in terms of sales. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I got you. I respect that. I won't agree with it, but I respect it.
You're going through a rite of passage on the program in which your feelings are slightly hurt, and you have to keep going with two people that maybe you're kind of mad at now.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stress.
Welcome to the
stress. It's all good. If we're digging, let's go. Let's go to the next one.
Track number 4, produced by the Trackmasters. This was an aforementioned single. It is N.O.R.E.
Getting sucked now from my fucking neck to my toes. Still shooting decent, throwing grenades at the precinct. Anywhere Guinness, mad niggas are getting finished. Stashing it, my niggas fascinate. Getting head in the whip and not crashing it. Yo, Monster Kodak, gang related like OJ. Fudge no man, by my first name Victor Santiago. Half black, half Hondo. Dominicano, people like Poke hate for Hondo.
Trackmasters don't get their proper love, man.
Yeah.
They get unfairly like tagged as like the mainstream, and it's like Trackmasters did a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff, up, down, left, right, whatever. This was the jump off that I remember hearing from this album and being like, okay, it was hard. The way it comes in, dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
Dun, 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 and this song had a frantic energy to it. You know what I'm saying? Which I thought was dope. It did still play into like the new 98 sound, that was happening, but it was just frantic. And, I always was like, N.O.R.E. stands for niggas on the run eating. No matter if you still cheating. I was like, this dude just says anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't give a fuck. But I got love for this record. This was a keep for me. To me, this is how I would have jumped off the whole album.
That's exactly what I put in my notes. That's exactly what I put in my notes.
This is a keep for me. In a way, this is almost kind of like, obviously Trackmasters were clean, but like the way that some of these samples come in, it's almost like the Trackmasters version of like a Bomb Squad where you have like, yeah, it's great. I mean, this is, there's also not as many songs on this album that are just N.O.R.E. And so I value this as a solo cut because he has such a unique style that you kind of just want to hear him do his thing. At least that's how I feel when I listen to this record. The only thing I will say about the Trackmasters production is that there's like another Trackmasters song, like 2 tracks after this, and I swear I haven't done this, but if you lined up the tracks, I swear that like all the percussion and like the various things are doing the exact same thing on both songs. It's like, and I know it's not specific just to this album either. Like that's just what they did. I fucking hate that shit. But that said,
so this is a Knife Wonder beat.
Oh, shots fired.
Deep cuts.
Deep cuts. Yeah, we got to keep it. We got to keep N.O.R.E. So my vote is to keep. Shinobi?
This is N.O.R.E.'s best rap performance on the album. It's the best mixed song on the album. One of my favorite N.O.R.E. first bars, gun trilogy, gas strategy. What does that even mean? What's a gun trilogy and a gas strategy? But then he did a New York.
He lays up like your majesty.
Yeah.
Like he's just the best.
Yeah, and then the New York flex, because having a car is a big flex in New York. Have y'all straight wilding when y'all see my car. Yeah. Definitely talked about getting head on the song. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Dude, love this beat. You know what I mean? Like,
I forgot remember the video starts it with Gun Trilogy, GAT Strategy.
Yeah, no, this is a definite keeper for me. This should have, like MidaZ said, this should have been the first song, yo. This should have been the first song. This is how you intro, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure out why they put Banned from TV first. But I guess it was popping so hard in New York. They're like, yo, we just got to put it as the first song on the album.
It screams as an album that doesn't have an executive producer.
Right. Well, I'm looking on Wikipedia, and it says that Capone is the executive producer. So
he's in jail. So like.
Technology being what it was at the time, he might have been giving notes that were like, "Yo, hey, we asked you this a week ago, dog. We already submitted the album." He was like, "No, put N.O.R.E first. Sorry, we just got your message back." So, yeah, could have used a little bit more direction, but we're gonna keep moving forward with the next track. It's the Head interlude.
Oh, stop rushing me. I'm gonna turn over though. Alright, what up? What up? Oh, yo, deep though there. Oh, yo, take that. Oh, play, suck my balls. Just suck my balls. Come on, just suck my balls, yo. Oh, squeeze my sack, yo.
Bro, 98 was littered with sex sounds as skits.
I have a question for you. Is the man in this skit hooking up with the ghost of a snake? Why is she talking like that? Get on your back.
You ever talk? Yo, Sean, you ever talk to a New York girl, man? That's Newport's and Hennessy, fam.
Oh man,
it sounds like she's maybe having an asthma attack. Yeah, I mean, cut it the fuck out of here.
Listening back to these joints, man, it'd be like, why did you think that we needed to be set up for the Head song? Like, the song is what it is. Like, I don't need a precursor to Head to be like, oh, you know what? Now I feel this even more because there was a minute of dick sucking prior to the like, it doesn't help anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's a waste of audio on the shit. Like, get it out of here. Cut.
Yeah, unanimous cut decision.
Cut this track.
Yo, yeah, I'm trying to think like from the perspective of those guys. They had to be like 19, 20, like in their early 20s and stuff. Like did that Head interlude get them head?
Absolutely not. There's no purpose of it.
I think if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. This track neither hurt nor helped because I don't know. The less said, the better. But I'm very glad that we are no longer in the time where like rappers were putting their sexual exploits so literally into their albums. That's not what I want to hear.
Yeah, it's not our bag of shit.
Yeah.
Like, how did you listen to this amongst homies? Like, yo, this the part, yo. Like,
yo, no, the cats who listen to this interlude specifically, like, yo, you got to hear this with their homeboys. They all had kids in like high school, fam.
It's also not even funny. I think that's really the cardinal sin of this. Like, you could maybe listen to things like when we did Capital Punishment, there's a sex skit on there, one that I skipped, but at least it kind of has some redeeming comedy to it. There's nothing funny about this. This is just like, it's just bad. Sorry. It's just bad.
Yeah, get it out of here. It's got to go.
It's got to go.
Well, then, now that we've got the interlude out of the way, we're ready for Head featuring Nature, produced by Trackmaster.
Staying high like the blimps is. Nemesis, blow holes through the premises. Head in the whip and not crashing it. Yeah, head in the whip and not crashing it. Yeah.
Doggy style was my favorite position until I switched it. Dead shit, got on some head shit. Doggy style was my favorite position until I switched it. Dead shit, got on some head shit.
Give me some head.
Oh man. The memories are flooding me.
Yeah.
So right quick, this song I can't cut this song. And the reason why I cannot cut this song is because when I close my eyes and I just think about this album and like, this song is what this album sounds like to me. It just sounds like these sounds, and to Shinobi's point, I never thought of it this way, N.O.R.E in stereo, like he's rapping every verse twice. And, like it's just, it reeks of everything that this album is to me, like happens on this song. So I can't really cut it for that reason. I feel like you cut this song and you lose the identity of the record. So I keep it. I don't in any way think that it's a great song, but I also don't feel like I can cut it and still present the album forward.
It's my softest cut. It is a cut for me, but it's the one that if this does wind up getting kept, whatever Shinobi does, like I'm not going to be that mad about it because it is kind of just, it's a little middling to me. It has this very like distinct sound. I think you're right, MidaZ. It does very much summarize and epitomize the sound of this album. It's not in my top 10, It's not in my top 10 of the songs on this album. Also a little disappointing when you see it's featuring Nature and then it's Nature on the hook. I remember the first time I was like, I get that was the thing as well, but yeah, it's a reluctant cut for me. So Shinobi, you are the deciding factor on this.
Head is a classic New York hood anthem, fam. I heard this out the 8th floor of my grandma's projects. Dude put the speaker out, listening to Head. Like, yo, this is like my favorite part of the song is him starting it. He sounds all introspective. And then he's just talking about getting head. Yo, Nature is my favorite part on the song because he comes in so aggressive. Give me some, like, doggy style is my favorite position.
Then I switched it.
That shit. Good old Smith.
It's like, I wonder if he thought he was getting a verse and he only got the hook. So he's like, well, fuck it. I'm going all in on the hook if I'm not going to get this.
He has some of my favorite lines on the album on here. He's like, you can't fuck with ex-crackheads, Vasquez, Puerto Rican with dreads. What's up? Why can't you fuck with Vasquez, the Puerto Rican ex-crackhead, fam? Like,
straight dick in there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The ad-libs on the second verse are hilarious. They're so good. You know what I'm saying? I fell in love with the shorty on some weak shit. Come on, fam. This is a definite keep. This is N.O.R.E at his best.
One other thing that used to always have me cracking up in '98 was I used to always bug out at how my man's name was Nature.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What about Nature? Like, just nature itself? The whole just outside? Like, it used to fuck me up.
How do you get a name like Nature in Queensbridge?
Right. You know who? He always outside. He's Nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
I saw beat a nigga with a branch.
I have to revisit it. I had Nature on the questions back in, I think maybe 2020, 2021. And we might have talked about this, but honestly, it's been so long that I forgot. So maybe we'll run that classic back. But maybe it was like a Nature of the Threat or something. I don't know. That's, shouts to Rascast. But yeah, okay, we're keeping Head then. But my question is, they were blasting that out the project window. Were they blasting the Head interlude prior to it?
They're blasting the whole album, fam.
Whole album, man.
Yeah. It was just on repeat.
That would be an upsetting thing if I was turning the corner on a block and all of a sudden I started hearing the interlude.
So imagine old ladies walking with their carts up into the buildings and you just hear, okay.
You sort of understand why rap had a bad reputation in the 90s. It was a rude and abrupt awakening. Well, we're going to move on to the next track, produced by SBK, featuring MidaZ and Mussolini. It is It's Not a Game.
Cause niggas like 5-7 tips, put a loose lips, ice my necklace to my wrist, long with the stones on my fist. Niggas hating me, cause I got chips, left the hood rich, nothing but diamond disc, head from a bitch, in the back of a bugged out whip. Why not shit, devilish and crabs ain't shit, mad at this, Surgeon General Rich.
It's not a game, nigga, we move in and move out.
MidaZ and Mussolini. Listen, man, and shout out, like, I was born in Queens. I was not born in Queensbridge. I was born in Queens. Didn't live there long. I don't claim it that in that way and rep it. I'm from Orlando, but I didn't have the energy for MidaZ and Mussolini. They didn't do it for me. It wasn't really there. So this song is interesting because it's a weird song on this particular record. I don't know that it's a weird song on, like, this. The idea of this song even fit a little bit more on the CNN record than it does on this record. Like, I don't know. It's a weird joint. And then, now that Shinobi has said it, the in stereo-ness of everything here is driving me nuts. And you've got them rapping, you've got N.O.R.E full on commenting the entire verse of whoever else is rapping in the background, just talking. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Just saying shit.
Like annotations from the past. Yeah.
Wild
Genius.
annotations. It's out of control. Then the beat is boring. I mean, it's just a beat. So for me, it's not a game, it's a cut, man. It's my first cut. Well, other than I Love My Life. So, yes, it's my second cut.
All right, you want me to go? Okay, so you can't have a Queen's album of this era without having a sad piano beat. All right? And this is it. Like I get the Maze and Mussolini thing, like, but they were all right on the song. You know what I mean?
They
like,
were stalwarts.
But it does sound like a Maze and Mussolini song featuring N.O.R.E.
Yo, facts. Okay, that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, and I forgot to tell you on the last song, he definitely talked about getting head because the song's called Getting Head. Definitely talked about getting head on this song too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. But I can't have this album without a sad piano beat, so I got to keep this one.
I've talked about this before. If you really study and listen to these episodes, you sort of have a blueprint of the shit that I like and shit that I don't like when it comes to production. So things that can be very maudlin and sad, especially when you bring those strings in, definitely fall on the spectrum of I'm not really messing with it.
You mean to tell me you don't like the kind of beats that would play in an Italian restaurant?
Mafia, yeah.
No,
in a rainy street in front of a diner.
You know what? You guys are bringing up great points. They just make me hungry. That's the thing. And then I can't focus. However, there's not really many strings on this. This sounds like a beat that could have strings, but this is, like Shinobi said, a sad piano beat. And I got to be honest, I kind of like the vibe of it. I think it fits. It is sort of a carryover from the War Report, and I'm not mad at that. My vote is to keep it. It'd
not be the worst song on the War Report.
That is also facts. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was like, a hidden gem from the War Report.
I don't know, MidaZ. You like Capone Bone?
You know what? It might be the second worst song on the War Report.
I'm not like, and here's the other point to make. Man. Like, as we've said, N.O.R.E is not necessarily the lyrical miracle superstar. So for him, it doesn't feel detracting for him to feature, as MidaZ you described, like stalwarts on the track because, okay, whatever. It's like, it doesn't feel like we're losing like prime N.O.R.E real estate here in that way. It's just this track is more vibe to me, and I'm not mad at it. So yeah, that's why I vote to keep it.
There could be worse Queens rappers on here too, by the way.
Okay, so to that point, Shinobi, I'm glad you said that just now. By the time we hit 99, between, Nas comes out, and then by the time you hit 99, 2000, everybody that lived in Queensbridge rapped.
You had to.
Yeah.
But the sad truth is, only like 4 people rapped. For real. And everybody else was like,
only 4 people needed to rap.
Only 4 people needed to rap. But here's the thing. Shout out to New York niggas. New York niggas is like, wait a minute. They making money? We rap too. Like, if there's a way to make money, New York niggas is going to be in. They're going to scheme on it. They're going to figure out a way to get in. And by the time you get to 98, 99, like, there's so many not great Queens rappers. Like, a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of guys.
And I bought all the albums. The way MidaZ is with Wu-Tang is the way I am with these Queens rappers. I bought all them albums.
Okay.
Queens guys.
Sidebar then. This is like a bonus game within this. What is the Queens album that you bought that you feel is the most unsung gem? And then what's the one that you're like, man, why did I even buy this? Like you have the most regret about?
Kool G Rap 456 is the most underrated gem. Okay. I think Kool G, that's the best Kool G rapping performance he's ever given.
Okay.
And then biggest regret, I'm gonna say 41st Side, Lake.
That's another one. Yeah,
these are not hot takes for you to sing the praises of Cool G Rap, one of the greatest rappers of all time. And then 41st Side, got it.
Yeah, that one kind of hurt. That one kind of disappointed me a little bit.
I feel like MidaZ and Mussolini are like, so I always, me and shout out my brother I Make Mad Beats, we used to always talk about the intros to like the Nas records and the Mobb Deep records where it always sound like there was 30 people in the studio. So I feel like MidaZ and Mussolini are one of those 30 people, but all of those 30 people at some point got their own albums. Like it just, they were on intros and outros going, yeah, word up, Queensbridge, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then at some point Havoc was like, yo, you wanna do an album? It's like, I never rapped before.
Just like got there early. Like they just got there early and just kept showing up like a little bit earlier. Like, all right, you guys want to do
Prodigy can't come for like 3 weeks. Do you want to record?
Yeah. Bars and hooks. You want to rap?
Bars and hooks? Like, yeah, I'd never rapped before. It's like, it's not really a big concern. Like, we can figure that out.
Millennium Thug. Where you at?
Millennium Thug.
Yep, we already talked about him on on one of our previous episodes. All right, we're going to move on to track 8, produced by the Trackmasters. It is Fiesta featuring Kid Capri.
Chicken that new came through, Bone Peter. But Peter got the word, you heard? I don't know how, whoever went and told, gotta be so foul. So much playing hating, gotta change the style. Niggas wanna go and tell about the doggy style. But Peter called me up on the phone. Said she ain't really mad cause he fucked home. Now she on some other shit, want a bone tone. Playing like E.T. wanna go home.
Who wants to go first?
This is my controversial take here.
Yeah.
This is a keep for me because this album is not very cohesive, as we've said. It is it is the sampler platter.
Hot take, Sean.
Yeah, and you might say that, I just voted to keep the sad piano murky vibe beat, and then this one is the most, to borrow a phrase from this time period, the most jiggy, we would say, of the songs on the album. But I gotta be honest, N.O.R.E doesn't sound bad on this type of thing. Like it, and to me, it's not like he was trying to make a super underground record. It's not like he was trying to make, as we said, he was swinging for the fences, as a lot of people in his shoes were during this time. I like the beat. There's a part of it that kind of reminds me of another Queens guy, Q-Tip with Vibrant Thing, those little steps.
Oh.
Bam, bam, bam. It almost sounds like it's the same note even, different sample, but same note. I'm not mad at this. It is Trackmasters to the core. My vote is to keep, and I'm prepared for this to possibly get shot down, but I got to go with my gut on this.
All right, okay. Bro, this sounds so forced. This sounds like they found out N.O.R.E was half Puerto Rican and were like, yo, you got to make the Spanish track, son. Like, that's what this shit sounds like. Even though some of these verses on this song are great, like him talking about buckwheat for a whole verse was freaking awesome. His second verse is hilarious, like very flagrant bars, but I can't. This sounds way too, it doesn't even, I don't know. It just doesn't, it feels like it should be on Kid Capri's album, honestly.
Yo, it does feel like it should be on Kid Capri's album. I wish I need to do a playlist, a Spotify playlist of all the Kid Capri screaming in the background tracks that feature Kid Capri in the track, in the title. He's just, hey, yo, it's Kid Capri, just saying shit like that, and then it's like featuring Kid Capri. This is another one of them joints that, like, when I think of this album and I close my eyes, like, I hear this beat, I hear the hook, and it's like, look, like I just hear it. That being said, it's gotta die. It's gotta die. It's not one of the 10 best songs on here. I could do without it. Again, it sounds like N.O.R.E was faced with the issue of, all right, I'm gonna swing for the fences and try to get these big records, but they weren't singles. Like, to me, you pull out these songs if you're gonna drop them and they're gonna play on the radio. Why do you have radio cuts that don't play on the radio? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm cutting it.
I'm not mad. I kind of envisioned this was going to happen. It's all good. We're going to move on to track number 9, produced by Marley Marl, featuring Cool G Rap and Mussolini. It's 40 Island.
74, adolescents at war, put your ear to the floor, you hear a nigga getting tore, homemade blades galore, jigsaw your fucking jaw to your drawers, CO when I close, watching you pour, how do you pause 100 outlaws from taking yours, contemplated on taking you down from at the door, niggas with claws leave you with scars.
This joint makes complete sense.
You look stressed as you were about to start this.
No. This song makes complete sense because I talk with my boys, I talk with J-Viz, they hate this song. Right, this song makes sense on this album because it's the jail song. You know what I'm saying? The industrial sound of it. It sounds like you're on Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? The remake, Cool G Rap's verse is dope. N.O.R.E saying loud shit like when you get there, don't get molested. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hold on. Let me write that down, N.O.R.E. Thanks.
Yeah, that heads up.
Yo, that G Rap verse is crazy. Could have gone without the Mussolini verse, but I got to keep this one, man. It makes complete sense with N.O.R.E's whole who he is and being locked up.
Well, look, there's a lot of things in jail that you could do without. So if the worst you could do is with the Mussolini verse, you kind of got off okay. So
and he killed the verse. The verse is fine. Yeah. I just think it just needed him and Cool G Rap, and I think it would have been perfect. But I'm keeping this joint.
I hate the beat. God, I hate this beat. I hate it. And it's,
I will say this. Hold on, MidaZ. I will say this. It does sound like when you hear the dun dun dun. It sounds like when Windows goes down.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a Marley Marl beat. It's not a great Marley Marl beat by any stretch of the imagination. It's probably one of those Marley Marl beats that got siphoned off to somebody and Marley's name got put on it because it's god awful. I'm torn on this one because G-Rap was G-Rap, right? Like, so you can't disrespect, the godfather of MCing, but at the same time, I hate to beat something serious. I will say that ultimately it probably needs to live on the album. Just for the significance of the G-Rap verse. I don't think you were getting a lot of G-Rap in 98 from different albums and stuff like that. So it's kind of a special moment in that case. Now, you know what? Fuck it. It's cut. I hate the beat. I hate it.
That did not take the turn I thought it was going to take. That was like
I hate
extremely. My vote was a reluctant keep on it. I mean, I think the reason that maybe it was credited to Marley Marl, I don't know how much he was involved in the production of this, but obviously he produced the original, the Rikers Island by DJ Polo and Cool G Rap. I mean, here's the dilemma, kids listening, like at home, as you guys are trying to track this. I don't think that this is an album that has 10 amazing songs on it personally. So my vote was to keep it. I think it's stronger than some of the others, but I'm not getting upset and I'm not lying on the tracks about this. So it's fine. I similarly do not like the beat, and Cool G Rap is one of the greats. So kind of
Sean,
equals out to a.
Is this going to be the first album? Because if we keep 12 songs, we have to go back and look at the 12 and see if there's 2 more to cut.
Right.
This is going to be the first album where we have to go back and find 2 more to keep.
The thought did cross my mind. But we'll see. We'll see. We're almost at the halfway point. So we'll see what happens. Track number 10, produced by LES, featuring Chico DeBarge, The Way We Live.
Hey, bitch on my dick, cause she Chico DeBarge.
No, it's crazy. No, we all together. I used to cut pies in front of my girl. Now I apologize. The reason why she's seen the red in my eyes when I was cutting it, feeling like the archives, tapping it down, digging out 2 cinnamon fries. Never hit the street without my heat walk. Told me not to.
Yo, just from reading y'all's faces, I already know how this is going. I cannot wait to hear, because I'm looking at Shinobi and I feel like Shinobi wants to keep it. And I feel like Sean's like, this is obviously a cut, right? And then Shinobi, I feel like his heart of hearts is like, yeah, but like he said whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm tossing.
Bruh, no, man. Fuck this song. This song doesn't fit. Where'd they find Chico the Barge? Was Chico the one on drugs? Or was that the other one?
I think they were all on drugs at some point. All of the DeBarges were on drugs at some point.
You should know me well enough to know that I hate hand clap beats. I hate beats with hand claps, man. Like
I love the specificity of stuff like that because I'm the same way with things. Like hand claps, fuck out of here.
Yeah, and I feel like this song was made because he pissed off his baby moms and he had to like get in her good graces and shit.
It's very apologetic. It's very like, yo, we know we hurt you.
But it's too obvious. Like that's the problem with it.
The next song, he actually says some shit that makes me think that that's why he did this song, fam.
Like it's so obvious that it's like I hate songs that are like too
on the nose.
Too on the nose of what it is. Like, yo, you know what you should do? You should do this kind of song. And then you do it exactly like that? Like that drives me crazy. The melanin in your skin. Make it all see-through. Like, oh man, it's horrible. Cut it. It's gotta go.
It's an automatic cut for me. It's too slow. It sounds like the soundtrack to like an after school special, like while the credits are rolling. This is one of those, another one where it's like, oh, he was swinging for the fences, maybe going for something a little bit more outside of the realm of like New York street hip hop, but like you also got to know where your strengths are. And this doesn't play to any of the strengths that we know N.O.R.E has.
Yeah, so it's awful. Going back to the Stillmatic episode, this album is worse than I remember it being. And my memory doesn't tell me the album. I was also 14 or whatever age I was, but my memory doesn't tell me that it was this bad, but it's bad. Like now, the second half of the album is better, which is, I think, Sean, for you and I doing all these episodes,
you don't see that a lot.
You don't. Usually they front load it and then the back half tapers off real bad. The second half of this album is much better than the first half as a whole, I think. But God, yeah, that's a cut too, man. It's got to go.
And I kind of feel a little disrespected, MidaZ, that you think I would want to keep that fucking song, fam.
That was a wild accusation.
I don't know what you think of me, man. Like
your eyes.
No, me and Sean were telepathically talking. Like, yo, we know this song is bad.
I misread your eyes, fam. I thought your eyes was telling it.
This is a little known factoid. Shinobi and I share the same birthday, so we have that telepathic, connection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what you might have seen as like emotion coming from his eyes might have just been nausea.
He was crying.
We're Aquariuses. We don't have any emotion, fam. We just act like we do.
Yeah, cut that shit off. All right, we're gonna move on to the next song as we enter the second half of the album. It's the Animal Thug interlude.
For real. Woo-hoo. Yo, hey, what's up, man? You talking to me? Yeah? Why you laughing me?
Animal Thug, chill, put the AK away, man.
Man, I have 20 girlfriend, man. You want some?
Yeah, man.
I don't give it to you.
Why not?
No, you. God like big dick.
I remember that skit. I actually fuck with that skit. That skit
unanimously keeping that skit. We just we're just keeping it at the end of freaking what's it called? Iraq Island. Just put it at the end of Iraq Island.
That skit's hilarious. Again, it should have been at the end of something, and then I would have loved it even more because it is a funny skit, but 10 songs gotta go.
Also a skit that like absolutely could not get made in 2022. Like I don't think that you could do that.
Oh my God. For real? Like it's gotta go. Well, first of all, you also just couldn't call your area Iraq. Like we just out here like, yo, we from Iraq. This is this the 90s was different, man. If you didn't grow up in the 90s, you just don't know. But yeah, Iraq. I mean, Cameron had a crew called, what they call it, the Taliban was the
Taliban.
Like, we were wilding 25 years ago, B. But for me, it's a cut.
Yeah, unanimous cut. We're going to move on to the next track. It's The Change, produced by Kurt Gowdy.
Right rhymes, try to stay illy. I got 2 C's, had them both in the same month. Ain't planning like that, but things occur. Baby mom's hating me, I ain't hating her. Yo, you know what? Most of the time, that's the way the game go. 1 minute you hot, the next you low. Not a soul love you, they just love the dough. Sometimes I think if a nigga was a N.O.R.E. What? Could I bone that bitch?
Solo N.O.R.E. track again. Yes, and he's sticking in the realm that works for him. This is a very like post Tried by 12 beat. You know, it's definitely
for sure,
in that family tree of that. This is a keep for me. I mean, this is. I think that the album would be higher ranked for me if there were more songs in this lane, which to me is just like meat and potatoes N.O.R.E. Like this is what, this is where he kind of thrives in my mind.
Yeah, this was when I first got the album, this song was on repeat for me. This was like my favorite joint. Still like it. I think the chorus is ridiculous though. It makes no fucking sense. You can't find me. You got to hit me on the internet. www.N.O.R.E. If not, call me. I thought he said you can't reach him.
By the way, if you type www.anything, you're not getting anywhere. So that was also a misnomer.
The internet was very new.
Yeah, it was too one of those original like Bollywood, Middle Eastern sounding beats. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like
you call him first instead of
I know.
You can't reach him.
He didn't even put his email down. He just put the website.
Like maybe there was a contact link, but I think we're lending him a lot of credit here. This is a great example of like whenever they were taking those photos of like the new crew of 98, like Cannabis pulls N.O.R.E. to the side. He's like, yo, let me tell you about the internet, fam. Like,
yep, that's exactly what happened.
I'm going to use that in a verse.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Thanks, man. Yeah. So are you voting to keep it then, Shinobi?
Yeah, definitely keep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote to keep it too. It is one of my favorite joints. So now, it's just N.O.R.E. in his element. Like it's N.O.R.E. doing N.O.R.E. stuff, man. He rhymed month with occur.
Yeah, like, had two seats, had it both in the same month.
He's a scientist, B. Like that's scientific rap right there. Like shout out my big bro Planet Asia. I was telling Asia, like I love when rappers purposely rap two words that don't rhyme and rap it to you like it rhymes. Like, no. This is the rhyme. Like,
sell it.
I love it. I love it. So this joint is a win for me, man. It was one of my favorite joints on the album. It's a keep.
All right.
And also, I do want to say one thing. He does have a profound line after that. Sometimes if a bitch didn't something about N.O.R.E., could I bone that bitch like I did, and could I get ass as a regular kid?
That's some existential, dealing with fame shit. Yeah, I mean, you don't get a lot of introspection from this guy on this record, so you got to take it where you can get it.
Maybe we should go through this album the way people go through like Ghostface albums, and they pick out like certain Ghostface lines, and they're like he's got all-time Ghostface lines on this album of like N.O.R.E. wisdom. That's like. What are you saying? Yeah, he's got it.
We should do that. All right, we're going to move on to the next track. It's the most popular song from the album, produced by the Neptunes. It is Super Thug.
You know it ain't no fun now. And where I go, yo, niggas can't even come now. You ain't the law, nigga, break it. I don't care, but when you get caught, remember that. I don't care. N.O.R.E. love throughout the atmosphere. Let me now we on the run. Yo, if that ain't clear, weak niggas wanna snitch. Yo, but that ain't fair. Yo, we down in Vegas. But these guys too courageous. You know I'm on the run, but still rip stage.
All right, I'll set it off. I remember first hearing, okay, so you hear N.O.R.E. It's like a gun trilogy. You hear that, and you're like, okay, all right. And then you hear Super Thug, right? Let's say you didn't hear Band for TV. I remember hearing Super Thug and being like, what the fuck is this? Like, and it was a weird what the fuck is this? Because it's not like I hate this what the fuck is this? It's akin to okay, I'm going to bunch this with two other records. It's similar to the first time I heard Slim Shady, the first Slim Shady song, My Name Is. I'm sorry. It's like when I first heard My Name Is. It's also like when I first heard Missy Elliott's The Rain. These songs that come out that you're like, what the fuck sounding song is this? I've never heard anything that sounds like this in my entire life. Like, I remember hearing My Name Is for the first time and being like, this is the weirdest song I've ever heard in my life. This song hits like that. Like it was an unexplored territory of sound for a rap song at the time. Like it was just it was just weird. I remember watching, then I remember seeing a video and being like, what is fucking going on? Like, if you come from the school that we came from, and if you are a child of the 90s hip hop, if you own any Gang Starr album ever, and then like you see this nigga running through the sand in the desert with you're like, I don't even know what's going on. This song blew my mind as such an anomaly of rap. You got to keep it. It is a foray into the future. It brings us the Neptunes. I mean, the opening line, like, he's ODB, bro. Hey, yo, we light a candle, run laps around the English Channel.
Neptune,
we got a cocker spaniel. Oh, man.
I mean, it can't be overstated how fucking exciting it was to be listening to popular music at the time when the Neptunes really started poking their heads out. Like, because what you just described with that, like, sort of neck turning, like, wait, what is that? Like, no pun intended. What? But like, this sort of kicked off what began a run of those. Like, they reinvented. I think about this a lot. Like, just the, even surveying the landscape now of popular culture. You think Pharrell just like walks around this planet and just be like, oh yeah, like I sort of set that off. I invented that. People are following this thing that I did here. Like, it's just is crazy. And I love this song. And yeah, it's the beat, and it is just like classic N.O.R.E. He's channeling that ODB energy. ODB, another one of those early Neptune hits as well.
Yeah.
This is immaculate to me.
Okay, for me, this is like, I'm thinking about a Nietzsche fit with some all white Air Forces. Me, I hated this song as a kid. I hated this. This was one of those like,
did you hate it so much that you know all the words?
Of course, I know all the words.
Okay,
but you know how it is. Like, you hear this, like, oh, he's really trying to like, quote unquote, sell out. But it was such a different beat that I was, like you said, I was confused because I've never heard anything like it.
What are we listening to?
Yeah, it was the Neptunes prequel. You know what I'm saying? The prequel or whatever. But Stereo N.O.R.E, great performance out of him. I love the bridge on the song. I never want to rap to this song ever again.
Right. Oh, man.
But yeah, this is a definite key. You can't have this album without Super Thug.
All the elements that are in this song are hilarious. Like, if you really, really, really break it down, like, I can just imagine the studio session and somebody's like, hey, you know what? N.O.R.E, that was a cool vocal performance. Thanks. Come out the booth. You know what we should do? Let's have somebody over the hook just going, what? Is there a girl in Studio B? Can we get her? Can we get her in here?
Khalees. I think it's Khalees, right?
Yeah, I think it is Khalees. Yeah, you know, the hook is just because he was counting his bars. That's how he counted. Was him going, what? Yeah, so.
Right. But like, the fact that the hook was that, first of all, if that's how he counted bars, so Shinobi, correct me if I'm wrong, if we even know this story, he was probably just counting bars, and then Pharrell was like, yo, that's the hook.
Yeah, he took the shit, N.O.R.E left, and he came back, and that was the hook.
And that's how Pharrell was like, I got it. Khalees, come in
here and sing under it. Yep.
And sing under it. This song's hilarious.
But what I don't understand, and this is my rap nerd shit, when Pharrell's talking about Manuel Noreaga being in the Philippines, wasn't he already locked up by then? Wasn't he already in like U.S. custody and shit?
I think so. Also, I want to correct. It actually was Tammy Lucas who was working with the Neptunes a lot at that time. It was not Khalees, but yeah, it's this is immaculate. It's great.
Yeah.
I have no qualms with it.
N.O.R.E at his best. Neptune's at their best. Yeah, it's great.
It's also probably the reason why N.O.R.E has the career that he has. I mean, like, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have been able to, maybe pick it up in other places, but, hits matter. This is the reason that this record went gold. And this is, it set him up as like somebody who could hold their own on the radio as well.
Yeah, this was a hit.
Yeah, and it's unlikely, right? Because you think about all the other songs on here that you would have thought would have been the hits, like the Chico DeBarge joint, the Kid Capri joint, and this is the one that popped off, the unknown producers and stuff. So,
and to your point before, it's like, yeah, it maybe is a little bit more commercial leaning, you could say, but like, you can't fault the man or accuse him of like trying to cash in on a sound, because this didn't even sound like a hit. You know what I mean?
So it's probably not even commercial sounding. It wasn't I don't think I don't know, but I don't think
it became
he approached
commercial.
the song as right. It became commercial. I don't know if he approached it as a commercial. By the way, it was the third single. Like, I don't think he even approached it as commercial.
Yeah, fair point. All right, we're moving on to the next song. It's produced by LES, and it is The Story featuring MidaZ.
And your cats is Lakers. Trash since Magic left, but he was the greatest. Hey yo, we call San, yo San, peace guard. You and MidaZ got the info. Them cats that try to shoot moose was hitmen, yo. A nigga named Ricky from the Bronx, Co-op City. Thugged out, shooters got mad sickly. I laid low, call Big Pun and Fat Joe. Them niggas my clique. We three.
Okay, this is the Tribe by 12 beat. Yeah. This is like even closer to the Tribe by 12, lineage.
Yeah. I honestly, like, this is my favorite intro of any song I've ever heard in my life. With the dude and the chick. And like, the story is mad confusing, though. The story's mad confusing. Like,
as any story from N.O.R.E would be, you know?
Yeah. But what's it called? I put in the notes, like, ability to explain his enemy's hatred towards black people because he got robbed was pretty funny. Nas on the outro was great. Yeah, I'm keeping this song. This is a Queens rap story. This is almost like Stick You Part 2. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got to keep this one.
This is a Queens classic. Yeah. It's a Queens classic. Shout out this joint right here, man. The story, the beats crazy. You got LES doing LES things. It has Queens all over it. It feels like Queens. Yeah. Like, this is any Queens rappers could have been on this song and it would have worked. Yeah. Like, it's so Queensed out. To me, it's one of my favorites. It's probably my third or fourth favorite song on the album. So it's a big keeper for me.
Yeah, automatic keep. Great beat, great performance. I have no additional notes, but again, this is him going with what works, and you know he does this well. So unanimous keep for the crew.
4 a.m, got a call on the cell. What the hell? Y'all niggas just shot at?
Yeah, you shot at.
Sure, yeah.
Like, he's mad. He's like, what y'all bothering me for?
All right, we're going to move on to Mathematics Esta Loca, produced by DJ Clue and Duro.
What? And it stuck with me, like my fingers stay sticky, shifty, low down, greedy and risky, take a shit on y'all, then I spit on y'all, niggas gas like a fart, y'all Wally my Clark, rock the low sport, always with Latino support, my niggas travel from Miami to Cali, Cali to Miami, ain't even come home the whole winter, shit is cold in New York, God, cans don't hard, I'd rather be out of state.
So right quick, this cause I caught my faux pas on this. This is the Esta Loca. I had them mixed up with the other one, but I forgot this song even existed. That's probably why I mixed them up. Like, I didn't even remember this song even lived. But as it was playing, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the fucking I'm half black.
Yeah, Puerto Rican, my pops. My mom's black.
Puerto Rican, my mom's black. Yo, son, what the fuck? God, man. N.O.R.E, I love you, bro. You're making it real fucking tough for me, man. I swear on this one. Clue and Duro on the beat. God, bro. This was a cut for me. Listen, shout out to N.O.R.E, shout out to Shinobi for being black and Puerto Rican, but the forays into Latin music, I could have done without for N.O.R.E for his whole career, even going into even later when he did
he definitely leaned into it more, you know.
Yeah, like
he caught a lick though. He caught a lick with it too.
He did.
Yeah, like, I mean, hey, it did well for him. I ain't mad at him, but I could have just did without that whole version of N.O.R.E. So I'm out.
Okay, I was in the Bronx. This was playing out of every fucking vehicle in the Bronx.
There you go. There you go.
Like, it's classic. You know what I mean? My only issue with the beat is I wish they would have had more bass line, more of a funky bass line on it. You know what I mean? I feel like it's missing something. But you know what I mean? Like, it's N.O.R.E explaining himself. I got to keep this one. And he talks about getting head too. So I got to keep it.
Consistency. It's so funny listening to his rhymes. It's like, if you were visualizing everything in the sequence that had happened, it's like how when you have dreams sometimes and things just don't make sense, and like all of a sudden you're dreaming like you're in your house and like an elephant walks in, and then all of a sudden somebody that you used to work with like 3 years ago is there. Like that's what the narrative of his lyrics are like. There's no like sequence to it. It's just very non sequitur style, just coming at you. And I know other rappers do that. It doesn't always have to be super linear, but the way he does it, like you feel slightly drunk when trying to keep up with it. It's like, what are we talking about here? I agree.
But he's also so literal. Like he's the most literal rapper of all time.
He is an enigma. And I like this song. I agree with what you said about the beat. Shinobi does sort of feel like a little undercooked. Like they could have added another element to it, perhaps. But I'm also looking at what we have remaining, and so far, excluding this, we've only filled 7 tracks. So I kind of feel like Mathematics, it might not have been one that I might have initially elected to keep, but I'm going to keep it for this. It's, it doesn't feel too pandering in the Spanish rap lane either, especially when you, again, consider where he would go with it later in his career. So we're keeping Mathematics, which means we're moving on to The Assignment featuring Busta Rhymes, Spliff Star, and MidaZ, produced by Nasheem Myrick and J. Wax Garfield.
But my favorite song still
Close action. Son don't even know what's happening. Before the second thought, make you feel the wrath of my clapping. Fire flashing, 2 holes up in your head matching. Dope fiend in the corner, itch from 8 scars scratching. We make the nutter butter, thick creamy shit from the gutter. Paranoid these niggas, flip and make their heartbeat flutter. You the sucker, lace you up with my box cutter. Your mother love.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first because this sounds like a beat that every producer wants to give MidaZ to rap to first, though.
It's fair.
Like, I like the beat, stereo N.O.R.E. Like, I never liked Busta Rhymes rapping about street shit. I wish he would have said clapping. He would have just said rapping, and I would have been able to stay with him, especially with N.O.R.E. talking about put the tailpipe. You know what I'm saying? Put the banana in the tailpipe.
You don't like what I call Raekwon Busta Rhymes? You don't like Raekwon Busta?
No, I like, especially if the nigga before you was talking about you putting bananas in a tailpipe. You got to stay wacky, right? You got to. So
he's that guy who took it too far. He was like, and then we'll shoot you. Like, come on.
MidaZ didn't need to be on it. He didn't finish his verse. If you listen to MidaZ's verse, N.O.R.E. disses him on it. He's like, do your job even if you collue it up.
Wait, who was it Spliff or MidaZ? I don't remember. That says live coverage at 10 on CNN.
That's Spliff.
That was Spliff?
That was Spliff.
Okay. All right, got it.
Okay, this sounds like it needs to be on the Flip Mode album. Right? Scrap this shit. It doesn't fit. Scrap this shit.
I gotta disagree with you, birthday twin. I like this beat. I like the performance. I like, Busta Rhymes is in, his typical guest verse kill mode. Yeah, I mean, maybe we could have gone without the gun talk, but this is just something that you got to accept. Listen, this is an album by somebody, who embodies chaos in his delivery, in the thought process. So I'm okay with the song being a little chaotic versus not getting finished, contradicting narratives about what people are going to do with you, banana in the tailpipe or just fucking shoot you. I like this beat. I think it's fucking dope. And I think it might be one of my favorite beats on the album.
Is my favorite beat on the album.
Of course it's your favorite beat on the album.
It is my favorite beat on the album. It's the only thing on the album that doesn't sound extremely 1998 to me.
100%. Yeah. And this sample has been used a lot. I mean, this sample was used as recently as Pusha T and on the Diet Coke joint that came out in 2022. So, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's the only thing that doesn't sound extremely 1998, which is kind of refreshing because the whole album sounds like this is of the 98 albums. It's the most 98 sounding album of the puns and it just sounds 98, 99. It just sounds like it's in that universe way more. But to me, this is a throwback to a sound that preceded it, and I dig it. And Raekwon Bust is always, he's not my favorite Busta Rhymes either, but Busta Rhymes is the best rapper in 9 tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, outside of G-Rap, like, he bodied it. There's such a lack of, with respect to N.O.R.E, there's not a lot of great lyric performances on the record. You know what I'm saying? And I think almost every single time they show up, I feel the need to show it love. So you've got Banned from TV, you've got 40 Island, you got this track, you got Body in the Trunk. Like, other than that, the raps are kind of whatever, except for the N.O.R.E's craziness. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's a big keep.
All right. So that means we're keeping it, and we're moving on to the Dame Grease produced Body in the Trunk featuring Nas.
No Tito tricks. That's what he supposed to get. Nigga play you close, you get hit. Lay in the dirt. For something you say, you get hurt. Fuck around though, probably with some old school shit. How bad you hit him up, guard? Yo, he ghosts and shit.
Yo, it's a body in the trunk, son, so what's it gonna be? The nigga laying dead cause he came for me. Yo, it's a body in the trunk, son, so what's it gonna be? The nigga laying dead cause he came.
Love a good back and forth. Love a good back and forth.
And this is a great back and forth.
Yeah.
This is not even just this is the kind of back and forth that makes you wish, like, damn, why N.O.R.E and Nas ain't do more there's a real chemistry on this
chemistry.
record.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not my favorite type of beat, I would say. But again, it's the chemistry is undeniable. You've got somebody who is an actual, real rhymer, lyricist guy in the form of Nas. And also, this is actually really the last song on the album. I mean, there's more tracks, but this is like the final song. So for me, this is a keep. I do enjoy it. I got nothing else to add. It's a keep.
I'll jump in right quick. It's definitely a keep, but Body in the Trunk is so dope because this is one of my things about beats like this. Like, okay, where Sean just said like, it's not really my favorite type of beat. I don't know if it is the correct beat for this song. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say the same thing.
Because it gives them the space to be the star. Like, sometimes I think producers, more often than not, the production fights the raps. And I think in most cases, you have to look at the raps as an instrument and taper back a little bit to give the rap, especially rappers that have voices and styles. You got to give them space to let their vocals be an instrument. And this was, to me, this beat, it allows for it to sit in the background while the superstars can be superstars. It's not bad enough that it detracts. It's just there. And I think it actually works in the favor of this record. But yeah, it's a keep for me.
Yeah. I like the subtlety of the beat. I like the story. I like that you can picture it being like early evening time. Like N.O.R.E shot this dude at like 7 p.m. at freaking, the mall. You know what I mean? Driving around with the body. Like, you can visualize everything that happens on this song. Great storytelling. Love this joint. Probably one of my favorite. Like, if I got to make a Nas playlist, it's always in there. So yeah, keep.
All right.
Classic.
We're moving on then to One Love. It's not labeled as an interlude, but it sort of is.
So what's the deal, man?
Ain't nothing with the deal.
Ain't nothing, man. Doing a motherfucking album, that shit got to be hot, you know what I mean?
Word.
We got to set the guard up, so nigga, you know what I'm saying? Everything could be tight, you know what I'm saying? We got to hit the world. This is our world, man.
Word up.
CNN world.
Word.
That's real, you know what I mean?
Word up. Utilize this time while we do down on me.
I'll say this. If this would have been cut up throughout the album, as the intro, outro would have been perfect.
What a great idea.
Great idea.
Yeah, because it's way too long. It's way too long, but I get it.
It's the longest thing on the album.
It's 5 minutes.
But it sucks because like it goes with it's on brand with the War Report. With what I'm saying? It's like leading up to the next album, which is going to be the reunion. Like, you're waiting for Capone to get out, so it's still like you're getting these phone calls and these conversations. But I gotta cut it, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't knock the intention or the idea behind it, but I think this is just This is just a matter of execution. 5 minutes, and at the end of the album, it's just too long. And it's not a great recording either. That's the other part of it too. Like, which again, not faulting them for it. Like they were working with what they had, trying to capture the audio here. But it's just, I think I'm not even sure that they themselves would listen to 5 minutes of this, like repeatedly after the fact.
It's never gotten played.
It's
after the first time. Nobody's played it twice.
It would be so interesting to see this album in the age of Spotify if it came out where you can actually see what the plays are, just to to see how, And to be honest, the invention of that being a thing that exists in the world would probably prevent against a track like this ever making the track list, because they would just be like, hey, we can't just have a 5-minute poorly recorded phone conversation.
I know. It's a micro podcast.
Yeah, exactly. All right. MidaZ, any other words for that or
none? It's get it out of here.
One love
shout out
gets
to
none
Capone.
love.
Glad he's home.
Yeah. No diss to Capone or Noreaga, but yeah, this needs to go. Which leaves us with the outro.
I hope y'all motherfuckers listen, to the whole shit. This album right here, put my heart into it. I want to make sure everybody felt it. Everybody felt it. I want to do that. Do it one time for everyone. Don't just limit yourself to just thugs. Because everybody's a thug.
I want to keep it. I want to keep it so bad.
Do it.
I'm fuck it. I'm gonna be contrary because I know we're gonna scrap it. Nah, I'm keep this shit.
Okay.
I love that at the end.
It is a bananas way to just end the album with the music and then everything he's saying, not limited to just the thugs. Because everybody's a thug. So great. And then shout out, be on the lookout for Thug Entertainment. Like, well, okay, like it's stream of consciousness.
I feel like they were like, I feel like N.O.R.E was like on the run eating, and he got a phone call, and he was like, "Yo, what's up? What?" And they were like, so we need an outro, and he's like, just use the Capone shit. And they were like, yeah, but it's 1998. We kind of need an outro because every album has to have an outro. He's like, I'm going to go to a studio here in Miami. And then he goes to some studio and he just fucking, I feel like this is just like, all right, we'll just do it right quick. And it's phenomenal. It truly is. It's a phenomenal outro. With that being said, it's got to die, but it's phenomenal. It's hilarious.
He explains his motives. He says he's making it for everyone, and that's what he tried to accomplish with this album. So salute to N.O.R.E for trying.
He did.
He really wore it on his sleeve. So we've got 10 tracks, perfectly fit. Our final track listing is Banned from TV, N.O.R.E, Head, It's Not a Game, The Change, Super Thug, The Story, Mathematics, The Assignment, and Body in the Trunk.
It's better.
It's better. We took a 19-track album and turned it into a 10-track album.
These were easy cuts too.
Yeah, they were. And I think that's what you get when you're dealing with what we all already acknowledged was a 3-mic album. There's a lot of wiggle room there if it's only 3 out of 5. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, has the mic rating changed at all? Did we make the album better or worse? I think we made it better. We can all agree on that.
I think we made it better. I think it goes from a 3 for me to a 3.5.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. If y'all would have let me keep my life, it might have been 4. But fuck y'all. But yeah, I got to go with a 3.5.
Yeah, same. I think it significantly increases it to a 3.5. We haven't really encountered a lot of cases in doing these where we had this cataclysmic shift in the microphone rating. I don't know that we will or not, but I hope that we do. But to me, I feel like this is definitely better. This is solid. This I don't think any of us envisioned that this was ever going to be a 5-mic classic, no matter what we did with it. But I think that this definitely moves the needle in a significant way.
To give N.O.R.E some credit, though, this album's memorable, if nothing else. Like, it's not extremely good, but it's unforgettable. It's unforgettable. This album, it's as he said, it's the album. You know, it's the album. By the way, he's got 3. He's got The Way We Live, The Change, The Assignment, The Story. I don't know why The Story is The Story when everything else is The, but I gotta show that love too.
Well, they were like, this is way too many songs with The at the beginning. We got to change it up.
Yeah, we got to change it.
I have to put the mic down and not say, what?
Yeah, this is a formative years album. You know, I listened to a couple of joints, realized I didn't like a lot of it, and only listened to the joints I really liked. I honestly grabbed the tape and probably made a mixtape and just put the songs that I wanted on it. So I think, you know, I like that he tried, but you can definitely see the shift. This was the beginning of the shift in New York hip hop, where like you, Sean, I started drifting away, and then I'd stick my head up, see what commercial guys are doing, and go back to the underground. So.
Right. But all that said, you know, even for a guy who was, you know, reaching out of his lane, swinging for the fences, never compromised his style. His style remains intact. There aren't N.O.R.E copycats. There aren't N.O.R.E clones. And you know that it's a N.O.R.E song the minute you hear them. Some of that is that N.O.R.E in stereo effect.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's... you know, this is not, I hope nobody who's listening to this thinks that this is all like taking shots at N.O.R.E or any kind of slight or diss to N.O.R.E. This is, you know, celebration of him. And I think that, you know, I enjoyed going through this album, one that I hadn't revisited in a long time,
right?
To do this exercise with you guys.
Before we hop out, I just want to give my man Stalin, who's got a lot going on, an opportunity. Yo, what you got going on, G? What's going on in the Shinobi Stalin universe? What's coming up? What's out? You know, you're a prolific MC with a lot always going on.
Hey, Shinobi Stalin. Shinobi like the ninja, Stalin like Joseph. We just dropped a project called Scumbag Beer Club on all the streaming sites. I should be having something coming out soon with Tech the Intern, Scumbag Jazz, I think 3. Got something coming with Juniali. Me and Soy have been putting together something called the Crunchyroll Cyphers, where we're recording the songs live on Twitch. And like he's making the beat live, and I'm writing the rhymes live, and we're recording the song live. So we do that every once in a while. So that should be coming out soon too. Yeah. So just right now, Scumbag Beer Club, Shinobi Stalin. Just look for me everywhere. You Google my name, it shows up. So I'm good.
Fire.
Love it. Let us know what you guys think of the picks. If there were joints that we cut that we should have kept, and vice versa. There'll be links to all of our socials.
I feel like the internet is going to flame us up for this, man.
We'll see. We will see.
I don't think so.
Well, prove one of us right and one of us wrong. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.